As I do not have two 4GB RAM sticks, I have to use one 8GB RAM stick to see how it will perform in modern VR games. The fact that it is single channel will alter the performance, but I don't think dual channel and single channel have much difference on Intel processors. For testing, I'm using a generic 8GB of 2400MHz RAM stick, and I'm recording in 720 by 1280p, and at 30fps. My PC contains an i7-7700 and an overclocked GTX 1660 Super. The first game is Beat Saber. The other games tested do not have OBS covering the whole thing, but annoyingly I forgot to minimize the OBS window on this game, but it did perform very well. I know Beat Saber isn't a very modern VR title, but the games get newer as the video goes on. Throughout it was a solid 80fps with no stutter. I'm pretty sure Beat Saber doesn't care how much RAM you have, or what computer you even have, to be honest. The second game was Stride. It's not a demanding game in terms of RAM usage, so there were no frame dips anywhere, and it was an enjoyable experience. In the future of this game, however, as the devs are planning to make a story mode, that might require more than 8GB of RAM, which I'll probably test out when the story mode comes out. For Pavlov, I was using all settings on high, and I decided to go on a public game. Throughout, no stutter occurred, allowing for a smooth game. Even during intense gunfights, the FPS didn't dip. Maybe on bigger or custom maps you might find frame rate dips, but as long as you stay with indoor maps, it should be fine. Pavlov doesn't use that much RAM, as I've found over the last few months.
Okay, they're over there. Do you have the bomb?
The performance of Pavlov with 16GB of RAM is pretty much exactly the same, unless, again, you're on bigger maps. So 8GB of RAM shouldn't be that bad if all you're planning to do is play Pavlov and some other light VR games.
Alright, good game.
Boneworks is a much newer game than all the other titles, and I was playing on an indoor level, and there were occasional frame dips, which I guess would be much worse if I was on an outdoors level. I was playing on the highest settings available, and Boneworks is one of the VR games that I think is enjoyable just to break things in between the levels. If you were on an outdoor level, say when you got into the city or whatever, then the FPS would probably be a lot lower and you'd see a lot more frame dips. If you wanted to play Boneworks throughout and you were deciding whether 8GB or 16GB was best, it may not seem that bad right now with 8GB, but it does get worse, so I would recommend going for the 16GB. Next was Blade and Sorcery, and this was a horrible experience. The lag isn't OBS, it's the game. It was nauseating throughout. The game usually uses around 12 gigabytes of RAM for good performance, and right now, as it's only limited to 8 gigabytes, it is stuttering a lot. I did have the gun mods installed, but they don't really affect performance, and these are the settings I was playing on, pretty much lowest all through. So if you're planning to play games like Boneworks and Blade and Sorcery, and I guess some other quite intense modern VR games, I definitely would recommend you getting 16 gigabytes of RAM. The specs on Oculus and Windows Mixed Reality, what they say you need, is normally 8 gigabytes of RAM, but yeah, definitely go with 16 gigabytes of RAM if you're wanting to play some modern games. Thank you for watching the video, and next week on Sunday, the video that I'm planning to do is going to be pretty good. Okay, see ya.